Hey everybody, this is Kathy Klotz-Guest, and I am the founder of Keeping It Human. So I am back online doing a Periscope here. I'll be traveling next week. I'll be speaking at the Content Marketing Conference, so I just wanted to give you a few tips. Some of the things I'll be talking about. Let's see, I want to give you a couple of tips on conflict and character. Storytelling is so rich. There's so many aspects to storytelling, but there are two parts of storytelling that I think get overlooked the most. So two things that I see happen a lot in a lot of the work I do, conflict and character, get ignored, or they get the short shrift and we don't spend a lot of time on them. So let's talk about character for a second. Hey everybody, welcome. Character. Tell me a little bit about the character. A lot of times in business storytelling, we just give the title. We say the CEO or the CFO or whoever our client is, but we don't spend any time on character development. So tell me what their problem is. Tell me what's at stake emotionally for them. Like, if they don't get this software installed, what happens to their division? What happens to them? What happens, if they fail? What's at risk? I need you to tell me what the emotional stakes are for that character. Who are they? What's the relationship to the company, to their team, to the challenge at hand? I want to know depth. So when you bring me into the story and give me depth, my mirror neurons create empathy. And now I see myself in that story. So don't just give a title and tell me, very briefly who is buying or what their pain point is. Give me some background color. What's the division trying to accomplish? What's their major goal? And what happens if they don't do it? What's at stake? All right, really important. The second thing is conflict. And I know so many storytellers out there, so many of you, I'm sure, feel the same way, is that too often in business, we just step over the conflict because we don't want to spend time on conflict. And conflict's bad and all that stuff, and it's icky. But there's no story if there's no conflict. Every business has conflict. And so we can't really sugarcoat that because conflict is how people also get pulled further into the story. And there's a researcher out there, his name is Kendall Haven, and he's talked about how the minute that we start talking about conflict in a story, or we start explaining that, it just pulls everybody in because our brain's going, ooh, I can identify with that challenge. How are they going to solve that problem? I want to know. So don't shy away from the conflict. It's really important to the emotional resonance of a story. And there's ways to do that. Build your tension. Well, how do you build tension? All right, give me, what are the choices at hand for the character? So, it can be kind of a drastic thing. It can be two really bad or uncertain choices. If you give me the choice between a really good avenue and a really bad choice, well, it's pretty clear a reasonable person would take the really good choice. But if you have two really unclear choices, so maybe a founder is right at this really just really strange crossroads, and he either gets funding from a company that wants to own 70% of the company, and that's not palatable, or he risks losing his business because he doesn't have the funding. Oh my God, what's going to happen? He doesn't have two really good choices. These are really dramatic choices, and neither one is great, and neither one is certain. And that builds the tension, and that's real. Or you can, today's the day. Another wonderful moment that I learned on a storytelling stage, on the improv stage, was today's the day. The dramatic tension of, we've all had that moment where we're going to quit that job. We're going to start a new business. We're going to walk out on something that isn't working for us. We're walking out on a bad relationship because it's not working for us anymore. Today's the day that I just make that sink or swim decision. I'm either going to go for it, or I'm going to, continue to pluck along with the status quo. When the status quo is broken and we see the character have to make a change, we're further drawn into the story because we've all had those put up or shut up moments. I call them put up or shut up moments. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I'm not going to take this anymore. I'll take this job and shove it. I'm going to go somewhere else. And those are real moments for everybody because they're turning points. They're pivotal. And they increase the emotional resonance of a story. So don't be afraid to use those. I think they'll serve you well in your story. So as always, everybody, happy storytelling. I'll come back on Monday. I'll do another Periscope. And then I'm off next week. I'll try to do a few Periscopes, but I'll be at a conference. And in between, talking about storytelling and content marketing, I'll try to sneak in a few Periscopes from the show. So, all right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful, wonderful happy weekend and all that good stuff. Happy storytelling, everybody. Thank you. Thanks again. Thank you. Hearts back at you. Bye.